and as a result, I never lost touch with him. You know, so over many years, how many years? 21 years, I have had a very enormous correspondence with him. Of course, what it turned out to be is almost a reflection of what I'm facing or what I'm thinking about in my life in the form of a letter to, but I never, it's interesting, I never lost touch with him. I never, and even in my madness, believe that every once in a while, like when Sophia was making her first picture, Virgin Suicides, in Los Angeles Translation, and I'm saying, go there and be sure you're there so that they treat her well and stuff. Oddly enough, I always did that with him or with her or with, but I never asked him for myself. In other words, when my films filmed open, and somehow it's okay. He was there protecting Sophia. So, I mean, it's I feel very much that this decision now, he would love the new lenses we bought, he would love the way we handle the technology, he would love, and I've even discovered his spirit. You know, I have a young Japanese-American assistant from Wesleyan that has a lot of his spirit that helps me with some of those areas that my son helped me with, or, you know, Keanu Reeves always, I remember once Keanu Reeves was living in our house and came down from the attic where Geo's lived, and 8 in the morning came down and had a beer and a donut. And it was like a renaissance. It was a reincarnation. So I see lots of evidence of him, which is a positive thing, not a negative thing. So I feel very much that this new tact I'm on, because I've now decided I'm going to make one movie after another as long as I can. I'm going to write them. They're going to be original scripts. This was a adaptation because this was the bridge that got me to this space. And that's why I don't think of Megalopolis so much, because I can pretty much finance a movie, you know, under $17–15 million and make one every year and lose all of it through my lifetime. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it for $80 or $100 million. Maybe I can, but my son would approve of this style. It's quasi-guerrilla filmmaking, very advanced technologically. We did a lot of things. This movie, the look of it is it's beautiful, but it's all done in a new way. It's not film, as you know.
Yeah. And I love the language that you were playing with in order to have those interior voices, the inner consciousness. You know,
well, that's very interesting, because all we did is we shot him and we just had him look right to left, and I played the same scene. But you cut it as like he's talking to someone.
But you know, it's right out of Abel Gance and Napoleon.
Yeah.
You know, and it's those the triptych sort of panels.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was
screen
brilliant.
direction and screen looks very, very powerful. And so I at first I didn't know how to do it, and you know, I was thinking of, oh, I could do it this way, all more elaborate. And then I said, you know, I'm just going to do it with the screen direction.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is, I feel my son whom I feel I've kept in touch with, has definitely, I know, has blessed this direction. And all my kids are very tight with this. I mean, Sophia's a personal filmmaker. She made Marie Antoinette, which was a very original film. She made it the way she wanted to make it. And speaking of Abel Gance, you know, she was criticized because she didn't take Marie past the young age, you know, and the guillotine and the whole French Revolution, and neither did Abel Gance take Napoleon to the second half. He doesn't have, he planned to, but Sophia is very much a personal filmmaker. Roman is really a personal filmmaker, even to the point that he's very innovative. So I feel very blessed, not only by having my children, but also that they approve very, very, very much with the direction. They're happy that I'm not gonna, you know, just, you know, what is the formula for a A-list director? If you want to remain, is that you have studios develop 3-4 projects for you. You pick them, and they pay millions of dollars for screenwriters, and then the best one, you see what the casting thing is, and then you make, you know, a big $150 million movie and get a $10 million fee, and the other 2 or 3 scripts get done by other people, and you're the executive producer. That's how it's done.
What do you think, having worked on this picture, done a lot of work on Mircea Eliade, what do you think time is? Has your thinking about time changed?
Time, of course, I mean, I think we've all known time does not exist in the way the human being conceptualizes it, because we're able to conceptualize the future. Well, the future doesn't exist. There's even nor the past. Those are concepts. We're always in the present. There is only the present. But we have such a sophisticated consciousness that we're able to deal with these ideas and actually live with them, and they might be useful. But for sure, I understand that there is no such thing as time.
Excuse me
then
just
what-
a minute, Mom. I have your room key so I can meet the Times journalist up there. And I'll come back in a few minutes. Sorry.
So, you know, I mean, there was actually some quotes about that familiarity that got me, because time was a knotty problem in my Megalopolis script, because it's one thing to conceive of a city within a city, but how many years would it take to build it? You know, so it's not going to be built in 6 years, you know, while your actor is still. So I was constantly in the Megalopolis script fiddling around with time and consciousness, because first of all, I mean, I've always had the sense, even as a child, that things are not as they appear. We live in a very orderly, Western, Kantian kind of practical world, because our brains move up and down, and black and white, good and evil, male and female. The Oriental mind thinks those things are all the same thing when viewed from a certain perspective, which of course comes out in the film in great evidence. So it was out of struggling with time and consciousness that got me to give my Megalopolis script to Wendy Doniger, who was the Iliade scholar that I had known as a kid, and she sent me some of these quotes about time from Youth Without Youth, and then I said, wow, this is interesting, you know, it's helpful, I'm going to read this story. And when I read the story, I said, well, I want to make this story, because it's such a Twilight Zone, it's science fiction, it's a love story, it had everything that I wanted it to have.
So what do you think is your definition of a life well spent?
Well, you know, I have a building in San Francisco that's been our headquarters, and I have like the 8th floor, and I have a key that enables me to sort of go right down to the 1st floor, and it doesn't stop anywhere else, which is the great luxury of owning the building. And for some screwy reason, I played this game. You can take the light, so I go down, push 1, I'm on 8, it's only, what, not a minute even, 30 seconds. And as I see the number 7654, I start to pretend, well, I'm going to die when I get to 0. And so I'm going down, I said, gee, I got to have such an interesting life. I got to be have a father who played the flute, and a mother, a beautiful mother. I got to have married and have these beautiful kids and have a nice wife, and I got to be in the movie business. I got to be a success, and I got to not be a success, and maybe be a success again. I got to be in the wine business. I got to see my kids. And as I'm thinking all this stuff, it suddenly comes to 0 and the door opens, and I don't die.